Here is another quick 9 playthrough here on the channel for you all. The date and the divisions, of course, shown on screen in the thumbnail. Remember to hit thumbs up and subscribe to the channel as well. Timestamps in the description down below, and remember the replays here are from old tournaments, so use the old ball attribute levels, which have now, of course, doubled. Hope you're enjoying Quick 9. Good luck, and remember to tweak according to your clubs and balls and wind angles. Here we go. On this par 4, we want to be getting near to the green if possible. We're going to go with 6 topspin and 3 bars of right spin, and I'm aiming comfortably within that little fairway patch there, leaving room for a great ball on either side. If you don't have 6 bars of topspin available, you can play with 4.5, but you will have a longer wedge in this wind angle. Adjustment here is max plus 15. Now, obviously, in tailwind, you can play with a power 5 ball and bounce directly over the rough and the bunker with obviously less topspin, maybe even some backspin if you're playing with high wind strengths, and go on the green there. But otherwise, 1 ball of curl to the right here, katana or kingmaker needed for the 3 bars of side spin, and we're going to roll very nicely. You can play with the Thor's hammer or the Apocalypse as well. Second shot from here is going to be a wedge, and we're going to play it Endbringer school, but instead of 20% elevation, I'm going with 10 because this shot is uphill. So we're reducing our base elevation down to 10%. If you don't know this method, check out my Quickfire Endbringer Academy video on the tutorial playlist on the channel homepage. If you get headwind on this hole, you can still bounce at the same original aim point as my drive, but you will be at short iron range, and you can play rings from min, but beware for glitch spots on this green. But regardless of the wind angle, a good chance to get an eagle. Not an easy par 3, this one. We're going to need a fair amount of backspin, so if you've got a lower level sniper, you may struggle. Going with a navigator here, as this was from pro, but in expert, I would recommend you go with a kingmaker. We're playing with 5 backspin and 1 right spin, and you can see the tip of that ball guide, a couple of green squares before the pin, and also slightly to the left, because the wind is going to push us on as well. If you have headwind angle, you will need less backspin, and you would need to offset that ball guide to be above the pin slightly as well. Max plus 20 in this wind angle here. If you don't have much backspin on your sniper, you can play it with the Guardian if you just want to hold nicely onto the green. Tricky hole to drop though, but there is a hole in 1 on this par 3. Now with this par 5, we're going to play with a side spin 3 ball. I'm using a kingmaker here, and we're using here 5 bars of topspin. It's difficult to get a consistent yardage on this drive sometimes, but the references I'm using here: yellow ring touching the rough, P3 max rest with the extra mile level 8. We're adjusting max plus 10. It's going to take us into a bit of overpower as there is some headwind. We're going to play with 0.8 ball right curl, and I'm adding on the amount of overpower I adjusted into. In this case, it was 3 rings. Clearly this drive is a lot easier in tailwind, but the idea is the same. You want to bounce over with the topspin and roll down this fairway to leave a long iron shot. Now if you roll too far, you're going to have to play the second shot with a short iron. As you can see there, there's the minimum distance line with my long iron. I'm using the Grizzly, and I'm playing rings from min because that gives me an accurate way of estimating my club distance. Once again, there's a tutorial about this method on the channel. Check out the Academy playlist. Top of the red ring touching the rough with the Grizzly, and then you're going to need between 1.5 and 2 bars of topspin. Depending on the wind angle, obviously if you've got tailwind, you want to leave that tip of the ball guide slightly short. Headwind, you're going to want the ball guide through the hole, otherwise you will come in short. Rings from min with 5% elevation. Take care to adjust this accurately. A bit weird when you're pulling the rings on a slope, so just ensure a very straight pull if you can. Centre the ball and hit perfect. There's a lovely channel to the pin here with this pin placement. Bouncing in the rough very nicely. Brilliant chance for your albatross. A simple par 3 here. There's 2 options. I'm going to show you the sniper here. If you've got the sufficient backspin, we're playing with 6.1 backspin. No side spin, and I'm having the yellow ring touching the beginning of the fringe where it meets the green. Ball guide going to the hole, as you can see. Headwind here with a bit of crosswind. The other option here, people play a Goliath rough bump with some topspin, bouncing in the rough and having the ball guide to the hole. There's a few options really. All depends what suits your play style. I like the sniper though. Max plus 15. If you've got crosswind at all, you will need to increase the elevation or offset left or right of pin accordingly. But a brilliant chance. There's obviously not much danger on this par 3. Very big green. Put some wind angle tweaks in there and you've got a brilliant hole in one. Max plus 15. Now, very tricky par 5. Here we are going to play down the right-hand side, and we are going to have here the extra mile and then the big dog or the cataclysm, depending which gives you the better stats. 2.5 top spin, 2 bars of left spin, playing with a Titan because we're in pro here. Expert, obviously I would go to a Kingmaker. Now you can see I'm aiming in the rough here, but all will become clear once I explain the shot. Max plus 10 is the adjustment here, so I'm making my adjustment. Then what I'm going to do is go full overpower. It's going to be a slow needle because we're not at max distance of our club and we're playing with 3/4 ball curl to the left. Full overpower, hit perfect, and you're going to see this takes us well past the rough, although you can't really see on the camera angle, but it does work, and along the fairway towards the top left corner. Drive distance you want to be around 380. Now with the big dog, here we are going to have to stretch out a little bit because of the wind angle. Obviously if you've got tailwind or you're nearer the rough on the fairway from your drive, you may not have to do that. Or indeed if you're playing with a power 5 ball. But I'm stretching out, having that first bounce on the fringe. And I'm playing this one no spin. The idea is just to get safely on the green. Now I looked at how many rings I was stretching out there. I'm adjusting max plus 10. It takes me into overpower. And I'm adding the rings on that I was stretching out. So in the end, about 3 rings of overpower. Obviously in tailwind, if you need to stretch out, you don't need to play with overpower. You can just push up those remaining rings instead. But I'm really just looking to secure the eagle, make sure that first bounce clears the rough, and then you are on the green nicely for an eagle putt. Now, if you want to support us on Patreon, you can do so. Details on the screen now. As part of your perks on certain days for the Quick Nines, there will be some Patreon exclusive Master General playthroughs for those holes used. So make sure you check us out there. Tricky par 4 here with the approach. We're going to play with the rock or the quarterback on the drive for the ball guide and also the accuracy. Now I'm looking at ring references here. Clear ring touching the rough on the right. And I'm playing with a few bars of top spin and 1 bar of right spin. Have that ball guide going down that channel of fairway on the right hand side. I play this route in every single wind angle here, and we're going to need the sniper for the approach. Adjustment here is going to be maximum distance with no elevation. This one is a flat shot, no downhill at all, so max plus 0, and we're going to centre the ball and hit perfect. Like I said, if you don't have the rock, you could play with the quarterback as well. It just gives you some accuracy as we're playing into a narrow patch of fairway. Rolling up onto this little hill, and it's going to leave us a sniper. Now the sniper is tough here. You've got to try and find a consistent landing position. I'm checking my club distance here, and then I'm trying to find a good spot on the fairway to land. Unfortunately, it is fairly bumpy. But you're going to have to play with between 3 and 4 bars of backspin here. A little bit of left spin. You can see there is a tiny sticky spot there. You might need to adapt the spins a little bit. I want the ball guide short of hole because we've got tailwind. Now, as an example here for a general play, I'd play this mid-distance 5% elevation. You could investigate the rough bump here, but from experience, I think it's a little bit glitchy. So it's all about trying to find a decent spot on the fairway. Mid plus 5, this one did need a little bit of a tweak, unfortunately. This is a tricky shot to drop for the eagle, though, but gives you a general idea of how you might want to approach the routes on this hole. Onto this par 3, going to play here with the sniper, and we again going to need a bit of backspin here, about 5 bars of backspin and half a bar of right spin. I'm looking at the red ring touching the rough on the right, and I'm having the ball guide pointing at the hole. So a couple of references there, red ring touching the rough, ball guide at the hole with your spin added. Very simple adjusting this wind angle, it is 1 to 1, so 6.6 in wind. I'm going to go 6.6 rings, and again this is the route I'd play in all wind angles on this hole. I like the sniper bounce up. bouncing very nicely just on the edge of the tree shadow, catching the downslope and falling beautifully. On this par 4, we're going to go with the rock or the quarterback in tailwind, and the extra mile Thor's Hammer Apocalypse in headwind. You can see we are using all the right spin available with a katana or a kingmaker, and a little bit of top spin as well. Blue ring touching the rough is my setup with the rock. Max plus 0 is the adjust, and then just for extra distance I am pushing back up to max because I want to get around this dogleg corner. You can see I'm going with a fair amount of curl here. A ball and a half of curl to the right, so if you are using the extra mile you may not have that curl available with lower levels, so just bear that in mind. It might be better to go with a low level Apocalypse instead. Try and cut the corner on the dog leg, and the second shot here we're going to need the Guardian. Drive distance going to be around 380 to 390. Now I like the backspin shot here, going with max backspin, and what we need to do is set up either side of the pin depending on the wind angle. So if the wind is going from right to left, I'm going to set up on the right hand side of the pin because that wind angle is going to push me into the flag. You can investigate the other side as well, but you want to have the second bounce on the back slope and the ball is going to trickle down towards the hole, hopefully in with a tweak or two. Mid distance, 10% elevation. Like I said, you need to just choose your landing position carefully depending on the wind angle, because you're going to have a high second bounce with all this backspin. So make sure you do some offsetting if needed. Little tweak needed, but it gives you an idea of the type of shot. If you miss the eagle, you've got a very easy putt. If you are enjoying the free content here on the channel and want to help out and keep everything free, then please consider making a small donation. All donations are gratefully received and help me out here on the channel, as all of the content here is produced for free in my own spare time. You can do that in one of 3 ways. You can hit the thanks button here on YouTube, you can make a PayPal donation via the link in the description down below, or you can also join us over on Patreon. Details at the end of the video. Now, a very tedious par 5, not one of my favourite holes in the game, unfortunately, for the lack of albatross opportunities. But here is an eagle. You're going to go with a quarterback, just about 3.2 topspin, 2 right spin, white ring touching the rough on the left at max rest with a P3 ball. Here, if you have headwind, I'd find this same position, set your spins and have the ball guide going just to the rough in headwind, and then swap to your extra mile or Apocalypse and just use that way. So I set up with the quarterback because it gives me a good ball guide, but in headwind, rather than overpower the shot, I would then switch to a long distance driver. Layup here around 335 is absolutely fine. Regardless of your wind angle, you will need either the big dog or the Cataclysm. Pick the one which gives you the most accuracy and topspin combined. You need at least 6 topspin really to get into any meaningful position to attack the pin on the third shot for an eagle. Max plus 0 here. I'm pushing up where possible in tailwind to give me even more distance. In headwind you will need to overpower this shot even more. I go with a couple of rings, that's what I'm comfortable with. You don't have to, but it does give you an advantageous position for your thorn shot on the third shot here. But you just want to transport the ball down into the shadows, get yourself a clear view of the green. Now if you are obscured by the trees with clipping the rough, or you're short, you can still get safely to the green, but you won't be able to attack for the eagle. Now the thorn here, we're going to play true club distance, 10% elevation. So find your min line, find your max line, and try and estimate where you are in your club range. Again, I've got tutorials on this one to help you. And then we're going to set slider accordingly. So if you feel this is 70% of your club distance, you're going to set slider and play 70% on your wind app, 10% elevation in crosswind. I was playing a no spin shot here for ease, but if you're in tailwind you might want a bit of backspin as well. You're going to find a lot of players only birdie this hole, so if you can pick up an eagle here, it will help you a lot. Thanks very much for watching this video here on the channel. If it has helped you in any way, please consider sharing it amongst your friends and clanmates in the game. Join us also on Facebook. Head over there, search for BK Golf Clash and join our free group. Loads of members there sharing shots. Free guides are posted, as well as loads of other great Golf Clash resources. So check us out there. You can join in the discussion and also leave feedback on the game in general. Finally, if you wish to help support the channel and keep the content free for everybody, please consider becoming a Patreon member. The link is in the video description down below. Good luck, see you soon, bye for now.